Leighton Flowers. Can you truly say that you are already saved, and that you are saved by faith alone? The answer, within your own system, is no. Because according to Flowers, salvation involves a certain mystery. One cannot know for sure if a person has a truly rooted faith. He says, we can see the fruit but not the root. But that argument collapses on itself, because the fruit reflects the root. A corn plant produces corn, the root determines the fruit. If the fruit does not reflect the root, the entire system falls apart. Flowers also teaches that divine justification, being an irreversible decree, takes into account the durability of faith in the entire life of the person in all things, so he can make a just, irreversible decree. In other words, God justifies the one whom he foresees will maintain a lasting, persevering faith until the end in the entire life of the person with all things put in front of him. But here, Flowers abandons provisionism and adopts classic Arminianism because he depends on divine foreknowledge. God looks ahead to see who will persevere, and based on that, he issues his decree of justification. This means that man becomes the cause of God's decree. It is no longer the initial act of faith that justifies, but the entire course of one's life and future faith. In this scheme, God decrees according to man, and that is a serious error. So the question arises, when does this decree occur? Before the foundation of the world or at the moment of conversion? If it was before the foundation of the world, then some are born already justified, which contradicts Flowers' own rejection of determinism. But if the decree occurs in time, then God learns with time, which denies his omniscience. There is no logical escape, the system contradicts itself. And if God decrees based on what man will do, then we're facing determinism by foreknowledge. A determinism where man causes God's decree, that is pure Pelagianism. But the collapse doesn't end there. Flowers also proposes a post-faith or post-conversion predestination. In other words, after the supposedly irreversible decree of justification, God then predestines the believer to be glorified. But if justification is immutable, why would God need to predestine afterward? Does God fear his own decree might fail? The only way to sustain that view is to see predestination as a reward for free will. Man chose well, persevered, and God grants glorification as a prize. Thus, predestination ceases to be an eternal decree and becomes a trophy of human merit. And if faith is not a divine gift, but a free and enduring human act, then the basis of election, justification, and predestination is no longer grace. It's human effort. Provisionism, at its core, reverses the order of the gospel. And if justification depends on a lasting faith, then no one can know if they are saved until the end of their life. In Flowers' logic, the assurance of salvation can only be confirmed after death. Therefore, election and predestination would only be completed post-mortem, a theological and logical absurdity. Leighton Flowers' system, in trying to escape determinism, ends up drowning in contradiction. His soteriology turns divine grace into a reward for human free will, and by doing so it collapses under its own weight. Because when faith is no longer a gift, salvation is no longer by grace, and predestination is no longer a divine decree, it becomes a human reward. And that, Leighton Flowers, is not the gospel. Even if you don't like it, Calvinism is far better and far more consistent.